Hey, check out this clip from the Pre-Patch podcast.
But yeah, Heroes of Hammerwatch. If you guys don't know what that is, I think you and I played it. You, me, and Sin played it before Scruffy, if I'm not mistaken.
First one.
Yeah.
The first one we have.
It's like a top-down isometric action RPG, but it kind of like implements like a slight roguelike feel to it when it comes down to like getting into maps. You don't have like those standardized maps in like Diablo where you're going in, you're just killing everything. These ones are very, I wouldn't say that there are like fully randomly generated because they are very similar, but they do have
a random number generator of different variants.
There are different
like
things
pre-made
in the map.
tiles that are linked together.
Kinda, yeah. They're very similar. Each map is very similar. You're seeing a lot of the same map tiles. There's certain variations between everything. It's just map, like the spawning of enemies are a little bit different. The spawning of the treasures are a little bit different depending on what you get. You can go into a map, like I went into a certain map that had like a vendor that would give you a free a free weapon or a free piece of armor or something. And then the next map that I ran, there wasn't that, but it was like like a farmer that gave you some food and everything like that. So it's got very minor, like randomly generated things going on in each map. You also have multiple different classes, as Sin is showing off here. I think he originally started playing a ranger, if I'm not mistaken, and then he moved into wizard and such. But they
How many
all
classes
have,
are there?
I think right now there is the 5, if I'm not mistaken. There's ranger, wizard, warrior, paladin, and I think that might be it. But then on top of that, you can unlock classes through doing the actual campaign. So you can unlock like the sorcerer, you can unlock like the rogue, I think it was one of them.
The first one was too.
I think there's another one that you can unlock for the wizard. I can't remember what exactly the name of it is. But I think there's like 4 or 5 other different unlocks that you can find by doing just progressing the game, essentially just going through.
Yeah, and that's like kind of where the rogue light aspect comes in. Like there's a out of run like progression as well.
Exactly. Yep. So this has a very similar progression style to games like Vampire Survivors, where you go in, you kill a bunch of shit. If you die, you bring back a couple of pieces of loot, and you can kind of customize your character through that. But you also can customize your character through like different skills. There's stats in play when it comes down to this. So like you can come back. I think my paladin that I was playing had like high intelligence for mana, but it also had like high strength to be able to tank hits and everything like that. In each of the classes does very, very unique things. So the paladin was extremely good at like, I played the paladin predominantly at the start because like he has his lay on hands, which in these types of games, any kind of heal is invaluable, right? Like it's just if you can heal yourself, you're gonna go far. And I originally played the wizard to start out with. Wizard was great, fucking great damage, everything like that, right? Exactly what you would expect from a wizard. You're dropping fireballs everywhere, you're casting chain lightning on everything, I think we're gonna see fucking Sin get killed right here. But you're dropping fireballs and everything like that. It is, legit, dude. It is fucking hard, man.
And you get cornered, you're like done. Especially like you said, if you don't have heals, you're done.
No, it is
brutal.
It is so fucking hard. The paladin, I think, was the easiest class that I had, just because again, you simply, you would get in there, you would drop your lay on hands, that would take you pretty much from like death to pretty much full health. And you just kept on trucking it. It was also an extremely tanky class, but it also did like you could block attacks. You had a chance of blocking attacks, which would completely negate damage and everything like that. So very much a good class to start out with. Yeah, what's up?
Does this game have a colorblind mode? Because watching it, I'm having a lot of issues with like the saturation of the characters and like the enemies and stuff. It's all kind of blending into the background together, and it's really hard for me. I think I would have trouble playing this just because I'm like losing stuff in the background. It's beautifully done, but I'm having a lot of trouble.
Honestly, it's not just you. It's especially with some of the enemies. There's little enemies that are like flowers that shoot out toxin in like arcs, right? I had so many issues like noticing those on the map. they blend in so well with the background and like the grass and everything like that. But I could definitely tell, like, if you had some kind of colorblind mode, like with greens, I would imagine greens would be terrible. Yeah, because everything in this fucking game is green.
Yep, that's my colorblind.
I do not believe that they have a colorblind mode, though. Unfortunately, I do not believe that they have a colorblind mode. That is something that they should probably look at. But yeah, this game is very niche as well, so it's not one of those things where I'd imagine it's probably a very small player base. Even though I think there's a lot of people that are colorblind. I think like in comparison to like population, it's like it's a huge percentage.
In today's day and age, we need like just a monitor that has colorblind.
Well, they've got those glasses. They have those glasses that are supposed to help, don't they?
Yeah,
but they're expensive.
They're expensive.
They're expensive as fuck, dude.
They're like $2,000.
Yeah, already have
$1,000 for glasses.
Yeah,
oh, hell no.
Yeah, for colorblind glasses. But yeah, no, I do agree with you that like 2025, it should be one of those things that like it's just accessibility wise, colorblind mode should be in a lot of games. Honestly, I agree with you completely on that one.
But you were saying it's kind of a niche game. I'm looking at the numbers right now. It peaked at 15K and it's currently averaging 8K. So it's fairly niche, but
it's not bad.
No, it's not bad. It's single player and co-op, correct?
It's single player co-op. Couch co-op, I believe, as well. Don't quote me on that. I don't know for sure, but it is co-op. I did play this with Sin the other day as well. So it's smooth. Like when it comes down to it, I believe it's full. I believe it's full release. I don't think it's early access. But it's a smooth game, man. And if I remember correctly, the first Heroes of Hammerwatch was really good. We just didn't get a lot of time into it. I can't remember what else was coming out, but something else came out shortly after this, the first one released, and we just stopped playing.
I played a shit ton of the first one, but
I didn't. I think I only had like 6 hours in it.
Yeah, together our co-op experience wasn't that long.
Yeah, I only had 6 hours in it. This one, I think I've got 8 hours in it so far, and I still want to play a little bit more. I've done the first 2 bosses. I'm not going to spoil anything, but the bosses are extremely fucking difficult when you first get into it. That first one.
Oh yeah.
Man, I did that first one like 6 fucking times before I finally was able to beat it. So, but it's an extremely hard game. I think it has a very unique system to it though, when it comes down to like progression as well though. Like every run you're building your coffers with like stone and wood and gold, and those are then used to upgrade your city, your town, which can give you more like upgrades to go into runs with. So like one of the upgrades is like a tavern that will allow you to go into runs with like a food buff. Another is like a tavern that will, or a distillery or something like that will allow you to go into runs with a potion buff and stuff like that. So you can get like blacksmiths that allow you to upgrade your weapons, etc., etc., etc. So I think it has a really cool progression, even outside of just the gameplay of like unlocking stats and equipment and other classes for your actual gameplay, right? Outside of that actual combat, it has a really cool progression system that I really enjoy as well. So but yeah, that's Heroes of Hammerwatch. You guys got any other questions? I mean, it's a really basic game, but I think it really does deserve a little bit of attention. I'm actually surprised that you said 80K?
8K.
8K. I'm sorry. 8K. What was the max again?
Yeah. 15,000.
15,000 for this is huge, I think.
Yeah, that was its launch crazy. Peak, and it's averaging this month 8,000. So
that's pretty good for this style.
I know Shroud and some of his boys were playing and picked it up, so that definitely, I'm sure, gave it a good little bit.
Yeah, probably gave it a boost.
It looks like a great game. I just, like I said, my only issue is I wish I could see.
Yeah, the colorblind. I don't for sure.
I don't do top down, so this is probably not my style of game. I don't like top down games.
If you're not a fan of like top down isometrics or like Diablo style games, probably not going to enjoy it. But
if Fortnite was top down, Tony he'd be all over it.
That's the next thing. That's the next thing for Fortnite. It's going to be a top down Diablo
top down shooter. That'd be kind of sick, actually.
They're gonna adopt the Diablo-esque that the Diablo 4's lead guy was like, yeah, every game that does this kind of thing should just be known as a Diablo style game. Thank you for checking out the patch notes. If you enjoyed this small selection from our podcast, come and join us every other Thursday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for the full unfiltered pre-patch podcast. And make sure you check out all of our past shows on anchor.fm/prepatch podcast.